Я поплыла в океан, жила в красный сарафан. И я б забыла, что ты есть. Я б не лезла в эту сеть.
I'm gonna try my best to be as eloquent, as quiet, as professional as possible. I don't want there to be any funny business when I'm doing this video because this is probably a very serious video. So, we're gonna be here a while. If you look at my screen right now, which I'm displaying, let me put my microphone down. If you look at my screen, Roblox CEO, also about this child safety thing. If you haven't been watching a lot of my videos recently on the situation with Roblox, they want to start adding dating to the website, to the game, and a lot of those OGs, a lot of those people that grown up on the platform, like me, I think I started around like 2016. You would know that it's a very bad idea. And I met so many friends because of it, and played so many fun games. My favorite game was Piggy. I'm not gonna drag this intro for a long time. I just want to watch this video because this is a very serious video. It's another interview of David Baszucki himself, but this interview is a little bit different. It's kind of different considering the fact that it's about child safety, and also a lot of people said that he crashed out in the video. Like he was like a little bit angry in the video. And I want to see what went down. So let's take a look. Here you go. Alright, I'll put my webcam right there. Alright. I'm gonna full screen this thing. Let me make sure everything is working. Alright, there we go. Everything's working. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, let me make sure.
You're confident that the technology has gotten good enough that you can use it to do.
We're gonna be very quiet. Let's do this.
You're confident that the technology has gotten good enough that you can use it to do moderation at a platform of Roblox's scale.
The scale we're at is absolutely mind-boggling.
You don't think you have a problem with predators on the platform?
I think we're doing an incredible job at innovating relative to the number of people on our platform and the hours in really leaning into the future of how this is going to work.
Casey?
Yeah.
You were in my dream last night.
I was?
Yes.
What was I
Now,
doing?
normally I don't have sort of lucid, vivid dreams, but I've been taking melatonin, which will mess you right up. And last night I had a dream that starred you in a central role. So I'm not sure whether it was because we talked about space data centers last week, but for some reason this dream involved you and me deciding to go in a rocket together into outer space.
Sure.
And for whatever reason, this was like a big national event, and like all of the living presidents had like gathered to watch it.
Were Katy Perry and Lauren Sanchez on the rocket with us?
No, it was just the two of us. And then at the last minute, I chickened out.
Save on new appliances.
Come on. Let's
All right, Kevin. Well, now we'd like to turn our attention to a really serious topic, and that is what has been happening on Roblox, the very popular online gaming platform. Before we get into that, though, how much would you say you know about Roblox?
I know that it is a very popular gaming platform for young people, for children. I know that it is breaking all kinds of records in terms of how many people are using it, and every time I see a number about how many users it has, it makes my head spin a little bit, and I think, wow, that seems really big. We should pay attention to it.
Yeah, and this is an interesting one because Roblox was around for a long time before it got big. This is a company that was founded 20 years ago. The original product launched in February 2006, but its growth really accelerated during the pandemic when millions and millions of kids are stuck at home and they turn to Roblox to find things to do. That growth has continued since then. They've had a couple of viral hit games recently. Just in the past few months, they had one, Steal a Brain Rot, that broke a record for the largest number of concurrent players at 25.4 million. They had another hit game called Grow a Garden, and there was one day when 47.3 million people were concurrently playing games on the platform.
And that's just like a huge number of young people.
Yeah.
Like, I think we should just underline that. This is becoming kind of a de facto gathering place for young people, especially in this country.
Yes, today they have more than 150 million daily active users. And one thing that makes Roblox really unique, and this factors into the conversation that we're about to have, is that unlike an Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Discord, which required you to be at least 13 to join, anyone of any age can join Roblox for free. And so that is why, Kevin, if you are a preteen, there is a strong likelihood you're on Roblox. In fact, just shy of 40% of the platform's users are under 13.
Yeah, and that brings me to the second thing I know about Roblox, which is that recently they have been in the news a lot for a number of pretty troubling child safety problems that they've been having. I've read stories and seen segments on the news about predators who are using Roblox to link up with young children, maybe lure them to another platform where they can ask them for pictures or engage them in sort of manipulative grooming behavior. There have been a lot of very upsetting stories about things like that happening on Roblox.
That's right. Often these same predators, Kevin, are paying children in Robux, the currency of the platform, to entice them into compromising positions. It's really, really upsetting. And regulators and lawmakers are starting to take notice. So 3 states have filed lawsuits against Roblox over child safety issues this year: Louisiana, Kentucky, and Texas. Florida's Attorney General launched an investigation into the company, and right now there are more than 20 lawsuits accusing Roblox of enabling sexual exploitation filed in federal court this year. That was according to a story by your colleague Eli Tan in the New York Times. So how has Roblox responded? They've rolled out a number of safety features in response. They have parental controls. And this week they announced their latest feature, which is requiring users to undergo age estimation if they want to chat. So if you want to chat with somebody, you're going to have to scan your face. Now, prior to this, though, Kevin, for many, many years, any adult has been able to contact any child on Roblox, and that seems like that has been the start of so many of these problems. And it has just raised the question, why has it taken the company this long to get this problem under control? So to talk about that change and the company's broader approach to child safety, we invited on Roblox co-founder and CEO Dave Baszucki. Dave has been at the company since the beginning. You'll hear him say in this interview he was also one of the original moderators of the platform. That is something that he did when the company was quite small. Now, of course, his portfolio is a lot bigger and there is a lot more pressure on him.
Yes, and I would say the stakes of what happens at Roblox are higher than just what happens to the children who use Roblox. I would say this is a story that has a lot of bigger implications for the rest of the internet. Right now, we're at a time where child safety online has become a huge topic for regulators and parents around the world. We've talked about a number of laws and bills that have been introduced to try to protect children, and a number of features like age verification that states and companies have been rolling out or mandating to try to get a handle on some of these problems. All of this is swirling around Roblox right now, and so I think it's a really important time to talk to its CEO about how they are dealing with these challenges.
Yeah, this wound up being a pretty tense conversation. I think you'll hear that in the interview, but we thought it was important to try to ask these questions of the CEO directly. We also range a bit further afield, including what he thinks about prediction markets on Roblox.
Yeah, and just a little bit of context about that. This was something that we were talking about in the hallway before we started the interview. Dave said that he is a fan of Polymarket, the prediction markets, and so just know that when he brings that up toward the end of this interview, that did not come out of nowhere. That was sort of an attempt to continue a conversation that we've been having before the mics were on.
All right. When we come back, we'll be joined by Roblox CEO Dave Baszucki. Dave Baszucki, welcome to Hard Fork.
It is great to be here. Thank you.
You have joined us today to talk about this new age gating policy that Roblox is rolling out to protect kids. And
What? Hold on. What is going on with his hair? What is this? Okay, I see a cereal bowl and a tornado and an earthquake.
I think we should start by just talking about the scope of the problem here. What has led you to this point, and how do you think of the problem of predators on Roblox?
We think of it not necessarily just as a problem, but an opportunity as well. How do we allow young people to build community?
Why is he so pale?
Together? How do we build the future of communication at the same time? So we've been, I think, in a good way working on this ever since we started. And when we were, this was almost 18 or 19 years ago, when we first launched the company, we had just 4 of us sitting in a room. We were literally the moderators. Like, we would rotate all the time. And so fast forward to where we are today, it's just like every week, what is the latest tech at the scale we're at? 150 million daily actives, 11 billion hours a month. Like, what is the best way to keep pushing this forward? And as you correctly note, we've just started adding that we're going to be using facial age estimation with AI to complement that.
Right. So tell us a little bit about how this works. All users of Roblox now, if they want to communicate with others, they're going to have to kind of submit to a face scan?
That's correct. And I think long-term face scan isn't the only signal. Like, mathematically, the more signals that are convoluted, the better the accuracy and the better we can get. So we already have signals. We have behavioral signals. We have photo ID upload signals. We have user suggested age. But we're complementing that with a facial age estimation signal that literally, in an ephemeral way, use your phone, use your PC, scan an image, do a good AI estimation, image isn't stored, and start using that to complement all the other things we do. And we already do a pile of stuff. We have very, very good text filters. We have very, very good, there's no image sharing. We're doing a bunch of monitoring. But adding one more signal to that can really help us make cool decisions.
I want to learn more about this face scanning technology, but first I'm just struggling to understand like exactly how many of your users are which ages. Like, my impression from the outside as a non-daily active user of Roblox is that a lot of kids who are 9, 10, 11, 12 are on the app. What is sort of the most popular age band of active users on Roblox?
This is really interesting, and I think this goes to what we've been saying for a while, in that maybe for the last 5 to 10 years, people look at Roblox and say, well, these are kind of these primitive games and everyone on the platform is pretty young. We've seen that migrate over the last 5 years from predominantly under 13 to now, I believe we recently said self-reported almost 2/3 over 13. And we can see those numbers growing and growing. Like, fastest growing segments on Roblox are 21 and up right now.
Or at least people who say they're 21 and up.
Yeah. Now, I think those numbers have a fair amount of current efficacy. We're obviously balancing those with the age estimation because we want a tighter estimation. But just looking at the size of the cohorts and the growth rates, there's a fair amount of accuracy to that.
When the EU rolled out some age assurance technology earlier this year, we saw a lot of kids that just took a photo of a video game character and used that to pass the age checks. How confident are you that your systems can avoid that kind of
I think we have a lot of opportunity here, in that we already have other signals that are maybe not as reliable, but when combined are very reliable. We also have the opportunity, this isn't just a one-time thing. Roblox experiences are, you're holding a phone. In many cases, we can use signals from your phone or the camera to animate your face, for example. So this isn't kind of a one-stop shop thing. This is possibly checking as we go. If we see weird signals, do another age check as we go. So I'm pretty optimistic, kind of the more naive, like, take a picture of that. We're going to go way beyond that, and it's going to get harder and harder to fingerprint in that way.
So after you roll out these changes, you're going to sort of sort users into bands, and depending on, if you're like 13, you're only going to be able to talk to people within a few years of your age. For most of Roblox's history, though, that has not been the case. Any anonymous adult could talk to any anonymous minor. Why was that the case?
I think we've always, from day one, really focused very heavily on quality of text filtering, and if anything, we've had very, very historically restrictive text filtering over time. One of the biggest complaints on Roblox, and arguably trading in a good way safety for growth, has been complaints of communication on the platform. Like, there's a lot of Roblox memes and themes, if you go back and dig into them, everyone's just saying hashtag, hashtag, hashtag. And there's been a lot of...
Because that's how you blur out words that aren't supposed to
That's correct.
use,
So there's a lot of historical memes about historical hashtag, hashtag, hashtag. With AI, these filters have gotten better and better. the state of where we are now is primarily getting into the blocking of adversarial attempts to broach the filter and adversarial attempts to try to share PII, which we're getting better and better at as well. On the age estimation, it's just, I would say, recently come of age to the point where we would complement it. But I would say our strategy is always complement with whatever technology is out there to put that together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When I read these lawsuits and these investigations into the company, it does not seem like predators are having that hard of a time getting around your filters. Like, you read the allegations, and it's people kind of change a few keywords, a few letters here. They're able to get what they need. So I'm curious, like, what's made you so confident that these are working?
I don't want to comment on it. We do see the chat logs of those, and we can see interesting and many times ways of people trying to, I'd say, many times people who are fairly sophisticated, I'm not going to say all of them, many times kids who are over 13 who actually in any other app are not running in a filtered situation, unfortunately figuring out how to jump to some other platform where they can communicate unfiltered, where they can share images, all of it. It's one of the primary things we're doing is trying to keep people on our platform. It's an interesting industry situation. I would say we're not waiting for the rest of the industry. We're always trying to stay ahead of it. We, on the California Age Appropriate Design Code, for example, we're already doing all of that stuff on, and the same thing with age estimation. We're not doing this because of any laws that are coming. We think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned sort of kids leaving the platform, and it does become clear in this lawsuits that Roblox is kind of, where predators go to find kids, but then they
Well,
do try to. Yeah.
I would say in the lawsuit or the press,
Yeah.
yes, I would categorically reject the actual description of what you're saying. But yes, what you might.
Why does he keep cutting him off?
Portray it that way, but
You don't think you have a problem with predators on the platform?
I think we're doing an incredible job at innovating relative.
Just like that, like David Baszucki is literally cutting this dude off.
Hours in really leaning into the.
He did it like 3
future of how
times
this is
already.
gonna work.
So let me ask the question about the other platforms there, because I mean, I agree with you that this is not a story about one company. Like, what we see is predators will come to a place like Roblox, then they try to get a child somewhere else. Like Discord is a platform that kind of comes up a lot. It seems to me like you could probably stop a lot of abuse if you prevented those platform shifts from happening. So like, what can you do in that regard? Like, in my mind, if you see somebody chatting like, hey, like, what's your Discord username, and it's an adult talking to a minor, that seems like it's a red flag. Maybe you're doing some of that kind of detection already.
I would actually say that is a very simple red flag.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds like text filter many prior generations. So I would say the techniques are much more sophisticated than that. We're constantly getting better than that, and sometimes it's adversarial. Like, we're getting into, if we cryptographically, we're going to try to have an exchange of how to share your Snap handle or whatever handle. We see some of that starting, like things we'll have to essentially prevent in the future.
I don't understand. Like, what do you mean, like a cryptographic exchange?
Imagine you and I were trying to share the name of an airport somewhere in the world, and we were getting blocked by all of the filters. We might actually start getting really creative, like use the third letter of every fifth word to spell out the airport. And those are the kind of things we get into right now.
I have sort of a basic question, and forgive me if this betrays my naivete about Roblox and how the platform works, but like, why have a sort of open-ended text communication feature at all on a game that is very popular with young people? Like, I have a son, he's too young to play Roblox or any other game, but I can imagine saying as a parent of a slightly older child, like, I just don't want my kid playing games that allow them to chat with other people in this way. There are lots of games out there that don't have that kind of feature. Why is this so core to the way that Roblox works?
Well, I would highlight that a couple things. First, there's enormous benefits for having people be able to communicate, and we think we see those benefits. There's a lot of kids who find their peeps on Roblox. There's a lot of kids when they're lonely or isolated, actually, I'm not going to use it as an excuse or anything, but I get a lot of calls from famous parents who said, look, my kid would be dead if it were not for finding a community on a platform like Roblox to stay connected with. And I would also say we do take it as an enormous responsibility to design for not the
No, you
sophisticated
don't. He's
parent
lying.
who
He's lying
goes
so hard.
in and says, look, I'm going to turn off who you can chat to and all of that. We have to design for all parents and think through that. But we do believe we have enormously great technology up and down the stack. We think it's part of building an experience like this. You know, if you go out there in the gaming space, I think it is very common to support communication. I'm not going to list any other games. And typically, we are way beyond in, I'd say, our innovation level, responsibility level on both the filtering, on the image sharing, on all of these things.
Is it fair to say that you think that any platform of Roblox's size with the number of young users Roblox has would be experiencing similar safety challenges?
I wouldn't categorize any of that. I would say we're at a scale that is somewhat mind-boggling. So I'm not going to run any, you know, excuse numbers of Roblox relative to any other platforms. But I would say at a scale of 11 billion hours is very different than a scale of 10 million hours. It's 1,000 times that size of it. And I would say the scale we're at is quite enormous. It's 150 million people every day. It's many more than that every month. And relative to an individual game, the scale's enormous. We have experiences on our platform right now which have 25 million people playing at the same time. And traditionally in the gaming market, the record prior to that, I think, was 11 or 12 for all of Fortnite. And prior to that, big numbers are considered 1 million for a single game. Like I remember when Minecraft hit 1 million users. So think about that. A whole platform at some point in time like Minecraft hitting 1 million users, a single game on Roblox hitting 25 million users. So
Right.
this
But you
scale's-
guys want that scale, right? You court it. You send push notifications. You give people daily login rewards. Like, you want the millions and the millions to show up.
I think we actually see there being an incredible opportunity if that scale is going through platforms with good systems. It's actually a big thing, and that the scale already exists. Like the gaming space, in a way, is $190 billion. So we now have about 3 or 4% of that. I guess 3% coming through Roblox. So I would say we like the scale. It creates an opportunity for individual game creators who might be making their game by themselves without part of systems like that to make it as part of a more overall system.
Here's the dynamic that I think that people find frustrating. We have many large tech platforms right now. They seek this enormous scale. They reach previously unseen heights, and then they notice they have a problem, and they go in and they try to solve it to some degree, and then they keep growing further, and then there's another problem. And I think to some degree, that dynamic is probably inevitable. But I think what a lot of people want, what a lot of parents want, is some sense that people have a plan for what is going to happen when the 25 million people show up, right? And I think they're looking to people like you to see around these corners and to not wait till 20 years in existence to say, maybe we should like sort these people into age bands before they start communicating with each other.
Yeah, I would push back on that a bit, and
I'm
I
scared
can
to see
hear
the
what
future
you're
for this.
saying, but I would actually say for people inside of our company, the way we think about it and the way we do look ahead of it, we're constantly looking ahead, and we're not, you know, it goes back to the very first thing we did probably a month into the company. So a month into the company, fun little story, there's about 200 people on Roblox, and what should we do? Should we keep growing it, or should we go build a safety system? And so 200 people in, let's stop everything, let's go build a safety system, and let's let the 4 of us go and become moderators. So behind the scenes, I do agree with you, enormous responsibility, enormously important to preempt this. It's why a lot of the architectural and decisions we've been making have been made, but we're going to keep doing them, right? And you could imagine Roblox at 20x the scale, having 50% of the gaming market space all in a single place. Like, we'll keep innovating on top of that.
Last year, activist fund and short seller Hindenburg Research came out with a report arguing, among other things, that Roblox was, quote, compromising child safety in order to report growth to investors. One of the things they pointed to was that there had been a decline in your spending on trust and safety. You have denied that. Why? What did they have wrong?
So fun. Let's keep going down this. And so first off, Hindenburg's no longer in existence, correct? So
He's
you
like,
should
he's
report on
stammering a bit.
that.
He doesn't even know what to say.
They went out of business for some reason. The other thing is, have you researched that information? Because you're asking me about this. I'm curious if you've done your own research.
I have done some research about.
And what's your take on that?
Well, I'm asking you.
So this is really interesting because I think we're diving into a situation where we're getting better. But would you ask the same situation of someone who converted from
No, you're not.
maybe
You're not getting
hyper-manual
better. I don't know what
labor,
he's talking about.
making cars by hand, to an assembly line?
He-
The assembly line might be infinitely better and at the same time not have so many
Whatever he
people.
says,
So
it's
I think
executed
what
so
they're
badly because it's
referring
all
to
his.
is moving more and more and more to AI. Arguably, is it better to have AI systems reviewing every image, every piece of text, all of that, or to keep doing that manually? So I think that was a misnomer, and I think if you
AI is
interview
not going to change nothing whether you
anyone in
like
our
it or
safety
not.
team or safety systems, that would be just part of making our systems better.
So just so I have the clear response, the argument is that the shift has been from a more manual safety team and system to a more automated review process that may do a better job, even if it costs less to operate. Because
Yeah, I would actually lean in harder. The shift would be constantly moving to higher quality, more accurate, and more diligent systems. Can we review more? Can we do more better? And say you and I, we're a system, what is the best way to review every single image going into Roblox at higher and higher quality? And say we figured out the best way to do that is to do it with better and better AI models. Would you pick that?
yeah.
Good. So you're aligning with what we did. High five.
But I've also been covering social networks.
Thank you for supporting. Thank you for supporting our Roblox decision making.
Hold on.
I also remember 15 years ago.
Hold on. What did you just say?
The shift has been from a more manual safety team and system to a more automated review process that may do a better job, even if it costs less to operate. Because
Yeah, I would actually lean in harder. The shift would be constantly moving to higher quality, more accurate, and more diligent systems. Can we review more? Can we do more better? And say you and I, we're a system, what is the best way to review every single image going into Roblox at higher and higher quality? And say we figured out the best way to do that is to do it with better and better AI models. Would you pick that?
yeah.
Good. So you're aligning with what we did. High five.
But I've also been covering social networks.
Thank you for support.
Hold up. No. The way he said it was so wrong. That's like saying for a podcast, this is very unprofessional for this guy. He's acting like a child. Like through this whole podcast episode, I really didn't expect much from this guy. I really didn't. Nobody expects anything from this guy. This guy is the one that did everything bad. But why is he saying high five? Like, so you're aligning with what we did. High five. It's not a matter of what you did. It's a matter of how you did it, how you executed it. And the way he executed was everything but wrong. It's just not close. Cause I know that there's a critical situation with Roblox right now, and the company, especially with Baszucki, he's probably shaking in his boots right now. But and when he tries to fix stuff, the whole schlep situation probably mainly started all this stuff. but it seems like the more this fight progresses, the more worse this guy gets. Because I know that like this guy is not exactly good. He's like a very unprofessional person. But what he does is like way worse. Like it's just not close. And the only way to actually save this thing is if we have a new CEO. That's what I'm trying to say.
Supporting, thank you for supporting
But
our Roblox decision matrix.
I also
I'm
remember
so glad
15 years
I'm
ago
so
when.
glad you guys are aligned with the way we won Roblox.
Right. I
High
also
five.
remember 15 years ago when
Is
Mark
this a
Zuckerberg was saying.
is this a stealth interview where actually you love everything we're doing and you're here to stealthily support it?
We were told you wanted to come in and talk about your new age gating technology, so we thought we'd get into
Let
it.
me just finish
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I totally buy what you're saying about using the best technology on the market to keep people safe.
And I want to highlight, I came here because I love your podcast and came to talk about
Yes.
everything. So
Yeah.
if our PR people said, let's talk about age gating for an hour, I'm up for it. But I love your I thought I came here to talk about everything.
Got it.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about steal a brain rot too. That's part of
it's a
my
fun
plan
one.
here too. But just to finish the thought, like Casey and I both covered social networks back in the 2010s when it was very popular for people like Mark Zuckerberg to say, "Oh, we're going to use AI to solve all of our content moderation. It's going to take down everything that's scammy or false, and we won't need these people anymore." And investors loved that. And then they tried to do that, and they found that actually, the systems weren't that reliable yet, and maybe they were taking down too much content, or maybe they were missing stuff that was bad.
I mean, look at all these social networking companies. Like go to 2016, for example, which is a reliance on automation and whatever. We've seen a lot of things where not being on top of what's going on in your company and these algorithms leads to a lot of weird dystopianness as well. So I think we saw in 2016 those algorithms got a little kind of into an optimization loop on weird things as well. So I think, anyways, yeah, I love your questions. I'm glad you guys are supporting how we're running Roblox on our AI technology.
You're confident that
Like-
the technology has gotten good enough that you can use it to do moderation at a platform of Roblox's scale.
The scale we're at is absolutely mind-boggling right now, like absolutely mind-boggling. And every system, image review, text review, all of that constantly getting better and better. So
I mean, look, I can tell you're getting a little bit frustrated here.
I'm actually not
Okay.
frustrated. I'm so excited to talk. I thought we were going to be talking about funny things in the industry and all of that. So I'm not frustrated. I'm just kind of figuring out how much fun time I have with you guys and how much fun time we have versus kind of this super focus.
Got it.
But I'm happy to talk about whatever you guys want.
Well, let me just try one last thing here, because this is what I really want to understand. It is very difficult to do content moderation at scale. We have learned that from every single company. And I think that platforms provide various benefits to society. I'm on a lot of them every day, okay? So I feel like we're kind of on the same page there. And I think
I'm
being a
sorry for
CEO of
covering
one of these
this
companies
guy's
can sort of
face.
feel like being the head of the Department of Homeland Security, where it's like the best thing that happens during your tenure is that nothing happens, right? Nothing explodes,
I want to
blows
push
up.
back on that.
Yeah.
And the reason I want to push back on that is that implies kind of a looking over your shoulder, defensive, oh shit posture. That's actually not the optimal posture to build an amazing company. The optimal posture to build an amazing company is, oh my gosh, we are uniquely responsible for a lot of people 12 and under. There's so much constant learning, constant innovation, that if we can do this right, like the future is really continues to be big and bright. And I feel we're uniquely in an opportunity to do excellent work in this 6 through 12 zone where many other platforms bounce off of it because they just can't do it, and they're just not doing it right. So that is not how we run the company. We view it as a high responsibility situation, but an incredible opportunity if we can do it right.
So then my question is, how do you measure success? Like, how do you, as the CEO, as you look at everything you're doing, feel like we're applying the right number of resources and they have the right error rates, and we're at a place where I'm comfortable telling parents, bring your kids to Roblox?
We see all of those metrics internally all the time. They're not publicly shared. We're watching filter rates, we're watching this rate, we're watching all of that rate. Those metrics constantly get better as we add more and more AI on top of it. As you said, we're constantly running at a higher scale as well. My kids are on Roblox. We have thousands of people in the company. Their kids are all on Roblox. But I would say, and I've said it on other things, if a parent is the ultimate arbiter of responsibility, and if a parent out there for any reason is not comfortable their kid going to the park, not comfortable their kid playing with a certain toy, not comfortable being on Roblox.
What is he saying, man? Lots of people don't understand this, but I understand that it's sometimes like the parents' responsibility, sometimes the parents' crucial stuff they have to do. Like, I understand it's mainly the parents, but it's also the apps they're playing, like Roblox, for example, especially Roblox. Like, just because the parents are responsible, that doesn't mean they're fully, entirely 100% responsible. I mean, I understand that, but like they go on an app like Roblox, that's like the number one place you don't want to go on. Like, I understand because I understand where he's coming from. He's saying that basically we understand that it's. I'm gonna summarize this. He's basically saying, "Oh, we know, but we don't care. We're just doing it for money, and also we know we just doing it because it has a lot of players. We don't really care that much about child safety." And also, he's saying that we understand that there's a lot of bad stuff going on in this app, in this game and stuff, but it's also the parents' responsibility. Who does bro think he is? I mean, I understand that, but then again, apps like this is what also kind of ruins the children, because like, let's say you're first joining Roblox and you see the true nature of it. That could be a big reason why you wouldn't want to be on that website, but you don't know any better because it's your first time, or maybe you just developed an addiction or something like that. I don't know why I'm going off topic, but I understand. Yeah, I understand where he's coming from, but he's not saying it in a right way. He's saying it in a way where he's kind of blaming the parents, and he's getting a little frustrated over here. And he's making himself look bad. He's making himself look very bad, because this is not the first interview he's done. He's done like, I think, over like 100, but each time he's always been asked the same question about this kind of stuff, and he just says the same thing over and over and over again. Sometimes the same exact format, and it's up to a point where I don't see Roblox getting any better anytime soon, because this wasn't planned. The Schlep situation was supposed to be a one-off for these guys, but it had so much backlash and controversy that they decided that they're gonna do all these changes, but it's not doing anything. Like, he's talking about chat thingy, but he's adding dating to the app. So like, even with the chat thingy, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything, because like the guy said earlier with them putting a video game character. But even if you do that, it doesn't change anything, because it's Roblox doesn't really act like a. I'm gonna save all this for the end of the video because I gotta finish this video. We have 6
Who
more
am I to
minutes.
say, right? And so I do leave that to the parents' responsibility. I just operate as an example. Like,
Yeah.
what would I do with my own kids?
When we come back, more of our interview with Roblox CEO Dave Baszucki.
Wait, what? Oh, that's it?
Have you ever wished you could play a video game your way?
No.
Where you can be invincible,
Do you think that screen time for children is getting a bad rap? I mean, this is a constant thread of conversation among the parents I know. Everyone's constantly worrying, oh, am I giving my kid too much screen time? Are they doing, enough offline activities with their friends? Are they getting sucked into these like addictive online experiences or these AI companions? What is your view on screen time for children?
So when my son was really young, we had pretty radical screen time limits. And you can imagine, as your parent, you have your second, third, and fourth kid, you loosen up on that. I'm actually
Okay, we're
kind
off topic.
supportive of it.
We're off topic. Okay, I'm gonna exit all this out. Let me shut this. Do that. There we go. All right. So now we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it because I just spoke like half of it just now. But what I was saying, I'm gonna turn this on because it's gonna get a little bit loud. So, I'm gonna bring my microphone a little bit closer. So like, we didn't have any of these situations back in like 2020, 21, 22, 23. It started in 2024, but then it grew up, like it matured in 2025. And now look at it. We're going into 2026 with this kind of energy with Roblox, and that's not good enough. That is not good at all. That's terrible. It's like, I know David Baszucki is like the crucial role with the Roblox because he's the developer, because he's the developer, the top brass basically. But like, he's not doing it in a way where it's helping people. Like, there's always going to be one sort of way, one way or another. It doesn't matter what way you put it. There's no way to bypass this. It doesn't matter what way you put this whatever you put your idea into work, whatever desire, it doesn't change anything because there will always be someone on the platform that will always find some way to do the wrong thing. Like, there will always be someone on the platform to bypass it. Whether it's a kid, whether it's an adult, whether it's an old person. It doesn't matter, because whatever they do is always going to have a giant issue, which is why Roblox is in a big situation right now, because they're already on thin ice with parents, because like, they're already on thin ice with everybody actually, because they have so much stuff to do. But this whole schlep situation is what was sharded all this in the air, and that's what's ruining it. Like, they're not giving themselves a good image. I mean, they are, but David Baszucki is giving himself a big problem. So like, let's give one example right now. The dating app, the dating thing. The dating thing, I'm pretty sure through his mind, he thinks that it was going to always. I'm pretty sure when David Baszucki thought of this idea, I don't know when he thought of it, he just did this year. It felt like he was starting to be delusional, which, like, I understand that David Baszucki is supposed to be a smart person. Like, he's like Einstein, but if you put it in a game. But even if you put it like that, it doesn't change anything, because he's not doing the right thing. That's what he thinks he's doing, but he's not. Like, the whole dating thing is not doing anything. That was already technically existing, like a couple of years ago. That was already existing, and he's just introducing it. And it's gonna get even worse, because now that it's official, people's doing it secretly, but now it's official. It's gonna be very bad, and I'm telling you, it will not last a year. I'm telling you, if he decides to go through this thing, it is not gonna last a year. And David Baszucki doesn't really act like an adult. Like, it felt like he was going to, like, when the whole Slep versus Roblox situation, it felt like it was just like one of his workers, employees, only for him to actually reveal that it was him under the mask and do absolutely nothing to solve it. Cause like, because David Baszucki was not always this dumb. He was actually a very smart person. I wouldn't necessarily say smart. He was just normal around that time when Roblox was popping off. That was around like 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. But now 24, he became a little bit weirder. Now 2025, he's literally not even known as the developer. People want him off. I want him off. People want him off. I literally just made a video. It's on my channel right now. You can check it out. I think they turned off the comments, so I gotta change that. Yep, they turned off the darn comments. Why do they always do that? Why do they always turn off the comments? Like, I gotta verify this thing. But whatever. So, if you look at my recent video, it's a video of me talking about we need a new Roblox CEO, which we do. Like, if we get Schlep, for example, I know Schlep is mainly known for catching Roblox predators, but he will do way more than that, I swear. If we could have 1 week, if it was Roblox versus Schlep all over again, which it still is, this battle is far from over. That wasn't the case at all. If you had 1 week with the developer being Schlep would have cleaned up so much more than David Baszucki could ever. Because Schlep is actually have common sense and actually knows what he's doing. I mean, I didn't know much about him when he had 200k. I remember when I first did the Roblox drama thingy, he had 200k, and the next day I wake up he has 1 million. 5 days later he has like 2 million subscribers. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. That's it. See ya.